Welcome in the ring, folks. Let's fight. A happy Sunday to all of you, if it can be described as a happy Sunday with so much flooding happening nationally. Yet we have not seen an address to the nation on the national flooding situation. And then we have coupled with that COVID-19. The administration seems out of its depths in terms of dealing and managing this national flood situation. And those of you who would have joined me last night know how angry I am at what is transpiring. I'm going to be joined by several folks this afternoon, and as well, we want you guys to call and to let us know what is happening with the flood situation where you are. So you're going to have that opportunity to call. It's 911, folks, Nation Underwater. And this is an In the Ring special. And we're going to be covering this national flood from time to time as we see the need to, trying to get updates to you guys as often as possible. We want you guys to know what is happening and where it is happening, so your own mobility can be informed by what is happening out there. We know there's lots of flooding, the national capital city, lots of flooding also nationwide in communities across the length and breadth of Guyana. Thanks for joining in the ring, those of you who are joining us on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, in the diaspora, internationally. Welcome in the ring, folks. Let's fight. Quite a bit of information to share with you, as we have said, and we are monitoring all that is happening currently across the nation, and we're going to be bringing some of that to you. Yep, we're going to be bringing some of that to you. And I just want to give you a sense of for instance, this is North Rheinveld, and this is the scene there today in North Rheinveld, and these are similar scenes across the nation, ladies and gentlemen. So as you're coming on, as you're joining us, we encourage you to share the live stream. We want to hear from you. We want to hear what's happening where you are, guys. If you have photographs, we're going to put our number up so that you guys can send us your photographs and those videos so that we can be better informed as a citizenry. I'm certain that the authorities will be able to gauge from our own page what is happening in some of the areas that they definitely are not covering, but this is just some of what we picked up, for instance, from North Rheinveld during the course of this morning, believe it or not, and we were informed that a lot of parts of the city are flooded, and quite interestingly, I heard the installed Minister of Agriculture saying that the mayor is deliberately flooding the city. Is deliberately flooding the city because he wants to cause problem. Lies. I'm going to call it as it is. That is a patent lie. But what else do we expect from them? They have to blame somebody. 9 months in and they're still looking back to blame the last guys. 9 months in and we are still looking back to blame the last guys. So folks, that is where we are at the hour. Folks are going to be joining us throughout our time together this afternoon, and we're going to be continuing to bring you lots of the imagery, again, out of the administrative regions of our country as we chronicle what is happening. As we chronicle what is happening in all of those areas, we're going to bring you some of the imagery that we have today, ladies and gentlemen, as we wade through lots of the issues that are at stake, people who are hurting, damages, lives that are at a standstill now, lives disrupted by this enormous flood, countrywide, as we have said, folks. And we are going to continue to bring you guys the images that we have at our end. We're going to continue to bring this as East Penitence again in the national capital city of Georgetown. We brought you North Rheinveld early on, and you'll keep seeing scenes from throughout the country, basically that we've been able to curate, that you get a better sense of what is happening. And as you come on, guys, this isn't one of our planned programs. We encourage you guys, whether on Twitter, whether on Facebook, whether on YouTube, to share the live stream, and we're going to just anticipate when we're at a good number to have our folks call and to begin to give you guys the updates that are relevant to the things where you are. And guys, if you know stuff happening at your end, you may want to drop us a message. But you guys know by now the number that you want to call is 627 6963. That number you want to call, because I'd love to hear from you guys what is happening where you are. 627 6963. I'm gonna let me see if I can put that number up for you guys as well, so that you can call us and let us know. Give us a good sense of how are things where you are. Give us a good sense of how are things where you are, so you can get the information out there, and we can all be better informed. Again, these are scenes from throughout the country. What has been happening overnight, over the last few hours. The folks from Yagasari spoke with us. The farmers there are hurting terribly. This is an area in Blackbush Pola. They are hurting tremendously. There, like in many other places in our country, where this flooding is affecting lives throughout the length and breadth of our country. As we have said, again, folks, if you're joining us, we want you to share this live stream for us on your different Facebook profiles, on your pages. And we know some folks would even take the link and share it via WhatsApp with your colleagues as well. And so we want to encourage all of that this afternoon. Again, thanks for joining us. I'm making sure I have my notes ready. Wherever you're picking us up from this evening, these are just some of the sights and scenes throughout the country. Coverdale, right in the East Bank. The folks there spoke with us this morning, sent us these images, rainfall early morning. I think you're going to see some of it seeping in the house. Yes, we can see some of it here, inundating the living quarters of those folks. So they are going to be disrupted in a major way. And guys, we want you as well to call us on WhatsApp. That is, especially call us on WhatsApp. We want to hear from you. We want to hear what is the situation at your end. We'd be very grateful to hear that. What is the situation where you guys are? We have the number up, so you can call us there. And again, share this live stream. We're going to have some members of our own team, some members of parliament, some members of the public who are going to call us. This was Kokwani, and this is one of the areas that is really hit hard. Kokwani really hit hard. And so we are going to be getting some information, the latest updates out to places like Kokwani as well. And for those of you who are joining us again, if where you are is flooded, we would love to hear from you. And that's why we have our WhatsApp number up there. You can call and give us a sense of what is happening where you are. And you guys can be our citizen reporters for the day and let us know what is happening outside your window, what's happening in your yard, what's happening in your house. Because in lots of instances, this water has inundated your living quarters, your premises. And we want to hear from you and get a sense of what is transpiring at the various location. We're going to give you also that number that you can call for civil defense, the number that you can call for civil defense, and to let them know also of any flooding in your area, and to see how they might be able to help you guys as well. So please stay tuned, share the live stream. We're going to have some folks who are going to be talking to us. And folks, it is countrywide. Whether we're talking about Cameroon, Supernam, whether we go from Region 1, Barima, Whining, and areas like Hosororo, and the area called Kobarimo. I just want to get my pronunciation right. Hosororo and Kobarimo, and other areas are very much very much affected by the flood happening there. And we know that lots of the infrastructural works were stalled for whatever reason by the new administration, and there's a flurry of activities now to clear drains and cocas and sluices and all this kind of stuff that should have been done 9 months there in there. 9 months. You've quarreled. You have the better management team. You have better plans. You got your manifesto. 9 months of doing nothing but arguing with the opposition. 9 months, right? You didn't want to engage the opposition, and you've got what you've got. In Region 2, Pomeroon, Supernam, we know there's some dislocation in places like, for instance, Kupui. That has been one of the areas we know that they need capital works, for instance, to improve the farmlands there. Kupui is one of the areas affected in Region 2. And we should have our MP Sherwin Holder giving us a breakdown of what is happening there in Region 2 and some of these areas. In Region 3, Essex River Islands, West Amorara, we know some of the areas affected by this flood has stretched as far, for instance, as far as Wickenham and Leguan and those islands there. But even on in Region 3, as we know, Central, areas like Tushen and Zila, Metamir, Zorg, and so on has been affected over the past few days. And we are going to try to get a sense of what is happening there. North and South section of Debuff, all of those places. Canal number 1 and 2, infrastructural works. We know they've been, for instance, seepages in the conservancy at canal number 1 and 2. And we're going to be trying to get a sense of what is the latest up there. Region 4, we've been telling you, Central Georgetown inundated with water, but places, for instance, that need some work or that they should be looking at infrastructure, the places like Alliance, Nottinzul, Belfield, are some areas where some infrastructural work is needed. I don't know what Zulfikar has been doing all of this time, but some of the infrastructural works there is just very, 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 very poor, very, very poor. We have places like Region 5, Mahika, Berbice region. The Myconi Creek has been causing some dislocation to persons who are living in that area. Gordon's Table, they're now trying to get some water pumps out there. What have they been doing in Lyman's? I don't know. I don't know what they've been doing, driving around with sirens and their Range Rovers and the Prado vehicle, right? But what really and truly have they been doing? Folks, I want to hear from you what is happening where you guys are. And so there has been some dislocation as well to residents in Region 5, Mahika Borbis, and we know especially in that Myconi Creek area there that's been causing some flooding in the embankment areas and some of the other areas where people actually live, right? They're now trying to rush some water pumps out there. East Berbice quarantine in Region 6, and this is the Blackbush Polder region where like Region 10, those areas like Kokwani, they've been heavy hit by flood in these areas here, Blackbush, Polder, and this is some of what was happening out there just yesterday afternoon. Residents blocking the road, they're fed up with the government. They say the government has not responded very well to this flood situation and that they are tired, and so they were blocking the roads there at Blackbush Polder yesterday. And we know some of the other areas that have been affected by flood are areas, for instance, like Eversham and Kanji, Canefield, and Adelphi, Borlam, Adventure number 47, number 43, Lesbian Holding number 51, number 52 are areas where infrastructural works are needed. And these were the folks you were watching now who were just yesterday at Blackbush Polder there blocking the road. They said they're fed up with the government. They're not working as they should. And so that was the situation there. We're going to try to get you guys some more information on that as the afternoon unfolds. And again, that was East Berbice quarantine. Again, Maibikuri was one of those areas terribly hit. Yagasari, that we showed you guys early on. Joanna, also one of those areas hard hit by the flood. And we're going to try to get an update with one of our colleagues who is out in the field there, trying to get an assessment and seeing what can be done from our end. The Kuyuni Mazaruni region, Region 7, where Bartica is centrally located, has been heavily affected by this flood. We had the vice chair of the Regional Democratic Council who was on almost just yesterday in that update that we did. Aranca early in April was heavy hit by flooding. We want to get an assessment there too. This is information we are not sadly getting from the administration. We're not, and we're waiting to see a national address by Irfan Ali. You wanted the head of state, take it, the man, and let us know what is happening. Let us know what are the short-term measures, any compensation that is going to be given to residents in all of these areas. Is there any flood relief? Is there any cash that is coming? You all have already said there's no second round of COVID cash coming. We want to know if any monies are going to be released to people who have been dislocated nationally because of this flooding now. And we need a national address on this issue. And so again, we are looking at lots of the areas in Kuyuni Mazaruni region in Region 7, again, where Bartik is centrally located, to get a sense of what is transpiring there and what relief is needed. Region 8, Pataro Superuni. Again, we're trying to get some reports out of this region. This is probably one of the areas that has been least affected by flooding. Perhaps least affected by flooding. We're trying to get a sense of what is happening in this region, the Pataro Superuni region, Region 8, Region 9, Upper Takatu, Upper Essequibo, or some people say Essequibo. This is where Lethem, you're going to find the beautiful, beautiful town of Lethem there. And we know that just recently, the president of the Rupununi Chamber of Commerce, Daniel Gaji, was talking about some of the infrastructural work that is needed. He said that they've been spending millions upon millions fixing road, bridges, and culverts in the Rupununi every year, and the flood water damages it. He said that a lot of proactive thinking should have gone into preventing the heavy kinds of dislocations we have had recently. And when we spoke, for instance, with our MP in that region, MP Vincent Henry, he spoke to us about how places in the Deep South have been sorely affected by this flooding. Cardinawa has been affected. Aishalton, as one of those closer areas to Central Lethem, has been affected. And then we had the councillors there that have been speaking about some of the redress needed and some of the damages that they saw being caused by this flood. And so we're going to be bringing you some of that. I'm going to be joined shortly by some of the persons who are going to be filling in where I may have been missing. But guys, our number is there, and I want to hear what is happening where you are. It's 627-6963. Call us on WhatsApp. Call us directly if you want to. We're going to see how that works out, but we want to hear from you guys. Good. We want to hear from you guys, and we have Region 10, Upper Demerara, Upper Berbice. Again, this is where Kokwani is located, and Rockstone, those areas that have been severely hit by flood. And we are going to be bringing you the latest. We had the regional chairman on with us yesterday, Darren Adams, out in the field, and we saw some of the images with them there at, for instance, Silver City and some of the other places, trying to assess what is happening while simultaneously bringing relief through some food items and some haberdasheries and so on for those persons that are affected. Again, this is Bloomfield here that you're seeing now. This is Blackbush Polder area, I think it is. And this one farmer was telling us how he, how he has lost so much or so many livestock already there. And he is, assessing the damage. And where does he go from there? Only God knows. But we're going to be bringing you the latest when we talk to our representative in that area. God willing, all the technology works in our favor this afternoon, guys. Again, in that area, Region 10, Upper Demerara, Upper Berbice, we're looking at some areas like Karakara that we know had some challenges with this flooding. Blueberry Hill and Block 42, Siberia Village, and is this Laudersville as well, had some challenges. And these are some of the information, some of the updates. We hope that we can get some clarity for you on, or if you are living in these areas, guys, call us. We want to hear directly from you what is happening where you are. The number is right up there. It's 627-6963. We want to hear from you. We're going to have some of the other folks. If you're joining us now, we invite you guys to share the live stream. And also, if you're joining us on Twitter, you give us a retweet. You're joining us on YouTube, you subscribe to the channel, and the subscription aspect affords you a notification whenever we come live. You don't always have to keep checking. You'll be notified automatically whenever we go live on YouTube, and then you can join in. We see lots of the comments here. People talking about the flooding in Kamaka Mines. I see Marriott Scott is telling me in the Kamaka Mines. Yes, Marriott, thanks very much. We're going to make a note of that. That situation there in the Kamaka Mines. Thank you, guys. I would love to hear wherever you guys are joining us from. If there's flooding where you are, your own thoughts about what is happening and what is your assessment of the situation where you are. Is it still raining, for instance, in your area? Those persons who want to join us, again, you have the number there. You can call. We'll just take the audio. We know some people don't want their face to be shown. We're good with that. We really want to get a sense of what is happening where you are. And I don't know, where is Nicole this afternoon. Nicole should be joining me, and if she's listening, I really want her to give me a sense of what's happening where she is, because she has some information, right? And she's going to be joining me shortly. But folks, this is the scene, as I said, in places like Kokwani Region 10, there, Upper Demerara, Berbice, heavily hit by this flood. Silver Tongue, yes, I see John Best saying Silver Tongue was also affected. I see people are still finding time in this chat, in a national flood, COVID and all that, to be abusing and cussing each other. But I guess this is who we are. Some people just nasty by nature, and so we are going to be pausing. Um, Not pausing, we're going to be taking stock of all that is happening. And you see these folks here are heavy hit all across the length and breadth of this country. People have been heavy hit by this national flood. And again, like you guys, we are waiting to hear from the installed head of state, but still they're the ones who have their hands on the public coffers and on all the other stuff that is needed for your reprieve and your comforts when you have a national crisis of this magnitude. And so we want to hear from them. What are the short-term measures that are going to be taken? See, livestock affected tremendously, right? You understand now why beef and so on is $800 a pound, even outside of the things going up prior to the flood, right? Livestock tremendously affected by what has been transpiring. National flood. This was Barchico. This was an area in Barchico that you were seeing here, where you have, and this is on a hill, and you have that amount to watch. A Parika market, we were told, this is this morning, flooded out there. Parika market flooded out, and we're gonna try to get a sense of what is happening where you guys are. Right? We're gonna try to get a sense from them. Right? We're gonna try to get a sense. All right. Let me see if I get. Some of my colleagues, because they seem to be having some challenges. And guys, I really want to hear from you. I really want to hear from you. Let me see if I can pick some of them up, because we're getting some challenges. And let me see if I can maybe do it. Like last night, I had to call some people because the technology don't always work how we want it to and when we want it to. So let me see what I can do, if anything at all. Folks, thanks for joining again. Thanks for joining, and do share the live stream on YouTube, Twitter, wherever else you guys are picking us up from. We will be very immensely, very grateful. Let me see if I can get one of my colleagues. And folks, I am joined by Nicole Telford. And Nicole is going to give us some of what she knows at this hour.
Oh, good afternoon to your viewers and good afternoon, everyone.
Go right ahead, Nicole. Talk to us.
Oh, yes, I'm seeing images all over the country with the flooding, and it is reminiscent of the 2005 floods, where the entire system of infrastructure collapsed, which caused that flooding. I'm saying that it's a reminder because for 9 months, the PPPC was in office, and all they did was complain and point fingers at the opposition and stifle the local democratic organs. And these are some of the challenges that we're facing now as a result of what they did. What I'll tell you is that this is not just a flood, this is a catastrophe, and it will lead to a lot of things: spike in prices, spike in everything. A spike, it's economic. It will attack our agriculture sector. You see how many farms that are flooded, how many people who got poultry, cash crop farms, and residents and businesses that sell. Many of them are underwater. We see livestock, cows, and all of that dead in the water. So much things happening all over the country that will impact us terribly. So we need answers from the Human Services Ministry, from the Ministry of Education, from the government of Guyana, installed, albeit Irfan Ali needs to come out and address the nation urgently, because this is not play. The images tells the story. People are voluntarily giving information. They're sending you those images from where they live. There's no lie in that. Nobody is filling up their house with water to express some bad omen against the PPP. It is happening for real, and they need to get to the news or the news media and determine how they will address it, and tell the people of Guyana if they're going to be paying them, releasing funds, and all those corporations that are silent, they'll be impacted too. And you know how you see it later on down in the week and the months, there'll be disruption of services as a result of waterlogged lines or whatever it may be. Or the consumer will feel it through the prices. So we need answers, and we need them now. That's my view.
Correct, correct. Very, very well. I know you've had your ear to the ground in Georgetown during the course of the morning and some of what has been happening. I heard again the installed Minister of Agriculture with a big lie about the mayor wanting to deliberately flood the city to cause problems. I mean, to God, the depths we would stoop to. What are your thoughts on that and the other stuff transpiring in the city at this hour?
I I think that's a reckless statement if it is so from the installed Minister of Agriculture. And I'll say this to explain to you. Georgetown has 13 outfall channels. Those outfall channels are managed by many times persons paid by the government of Guyana, or sometimes City Hall. It it differs, the 13 out from Agricola all the way up to the East Coast. And there's no way the mayor could collude with those persons that man the outfall channels to effect that kind of and that level of flooding. What has happened is the stifling by the local government minister, Nigel Darmlal, of the local democratic organs, not giving them their stipend and also not giving them the subvention needed. Those subventions that were budgeted for 2020 and 2021, they did not release them fast enough. Those subventions aid in the purchase of equipment for the removal of
Nicole, and,
garbage.
and yeah, and you're hitting the nail on the head because one of the reasons why the local government structure blossomed under the Avenue AFC is because you had that synergy between central and local government, that finesse, that working in tandem for the betterment of the people. But this administration seemed to want to stifle the city hall, stifle local government structures into submission, and this is a product of that.
Exactly. You've got it. You nailed it. So now the agriculture minister that wants to, if he did say what you alluded to, if he is spreading that type of rumor, I think it's reckless, and it shows their incompetence. They're unable to manage, so they point fingers. What they should do is get together with a proper task force that includes all of the sectors of the economy, inclusive of the private sector and those NGOs that are all across the country. That's what they need to do instead of pointing fingers. You understand? So those are some of the issues they should address before they start pointing fingers, and look at the images that are coming out from all over and determine if they need to move Georgetown to higher grounds or any other community, because
Nicole,
this will
Nicole,
continue to happen if they continue to stifle us.
yeah, we were just watching, for instance, at scenes from Hosororo, where these school children and primary and secondary school children are still going to school and are now wading through what was once road is now looks like a lake. Last night when you and I spoke, you were very adamant of the shortcomings of the Minister of Education. Today, for instance, instead of talking about what is going to be happening in the educational sector now, now that we see the challenges of COVID are being compounded by this national flood. It's an her page, for instance. I picked up what the installed Minister of Agriculture said about what's happening in Georgetown. So she has now gone into somebody else's sector as against dealing centrally with what's happening where she is or what should be happening.
She's confused and she's incompetent, nothing like Nicolette Henry, who restructured the education system in Guyana under the APN UAFC, which resulted in massive improvements in education across the country. Miss Manik Chan is woefully inadequate. She has made so many blunders during her tenure, and she continues under this installed administration. What I can say is that if we remember the 5B initiative under the APN UAFC, which would have provided transportation for citizens, sorry, students in the interland communities, easy access, those boats, the bicycles, and all of the ambulances and uh, the feeding programs. Those those measures were implemented to assist those communities because they're riverine, and the PPPC, when they came into office, they dismantled all of that. They raised the boat, park it up. They say it wasn't working. They did not want to continue as in maintenance. And that's their problem. The maintenance is their problem. So they didn't want, even if they had to paint over the boat and say it's their boat and we had to argue about it, fair enough. But maintenance is their problem. And that is what is contributing to the actual flooding. Look at the maintenance. They lack the skills of maintenance. Even all the roadways under the APN UAFC, when APN UAFC got into office on the 25th in 2015, one could have seen clearly how Georgetown and all over the world were complimenting the administration for the cleanliness of Georgetown and the entire country. Madhya, for example, there was an airstrip, the Madhya airstrip. Garbage used to pile up in front of Madhya. Madhya became a town. Madhya garbage is under control. When planes land, no, the tourists or nobody don't have to see all the garbage pile up there. The garbage around the city, the Ministry of Public Infrastructure at the time, David Patterson, he lent a great helping hand in repairing the roads through the force account unit, which used to go around and patch all of those roads, remark them, label them, and all of that. Clean the drainage, good collaboration with City Hall, courts in front of courts on Main Street that was problematic. Rain used to pour and the water run off quickly. All of those places, water receded fast because everyone,
Yeah,
government.
and Nicole, that is the challenge we have from moving from campaign rhetoric into governance because the talk is cheap, but walking the walk is something different. And again, it speaks to this absolute lack of strategic vision by the administration. Because, for instance, when we came in, they were in the middle of some projects. We never abandoned them the way they abandoned their boats, right? We never
Oh,
abandoned
yes.
them. We never said, oh, we'll never win Region 3, so we left in the road halfway, right? We will never win sections of the East Coast, so we're only going to do the roads up to our villages and through our villages. No, we completed those projects, perhaps even did it better than they would have done them, right? And we moved on from there. But they come and anything to do with David Granger and the Avenue AFC, they have halted and they have dismissed and they have pulled down and they have deconstructed and they have destroyed. And that is the challenge we have. And that leads us to this kind of catastrophic national crisis we're seeing on our hand currently, whether it's
Yes.
COVID or the national
Economic,
flood.
economic security, crime is going up. Check the US page. They're warning the people not to come to Guyana. All of that will happen. This flood is not just a flood. This flood is a national disaster that will have spin-off effects that will be very, very serious for Guyanese citizens. This is not about PPPC, APNU, AFC, or any other party. This is about livelihoods, living, and Guyanese survival. This is what it's about. And as soon as they get that into their heads, then they'll understand what management is. Where is the labor minister? How he'll talk to the people who work in certain organizations on how best to address what's happening to them. Where is Priya Manik Chan? How does she address the parents in the education sector on how they manage with regards to many of them who have flood, cannot access internet because it's down for some reason or the other. And where is Digicel and GT&T talking about the services they provide and how good it is? Where is everything, the collaborative effort that is needed to come out of this? Where are all of those persons? You understand? Everybody's silent and they're running here and there, while Irfan without a boots, um, without a long boots to protect himself. Some foolish person who's advising him got him walking and strutting in latrine pit water and all kinds of things, um, and not wearing his life vest, in a boat, a big touted president or installed president of Guyana. Those are the images that are going out to the world. They're lacking any kind of planning. They have no thought process. And that's where all their problems lie. And despite of the local democratic organs that they're meeting out, not paying them, as I said before, Sherrod, not paying the local democratic organs representatives in the APNU AFC areas their stipend, withholding the funds for development of those municipalities, NDCs, and so on. That's their problem. The spite, just spite, and not management. Manage and let your record speak for you. Our record stands out. APN UAFC.
Folks, I have Nicole Telford on the line. We want to hear from you as well, and we've had that number up a little while ago that you can call us. It's 627 6963. We want to hear from you. What's happening at your end, and we want to give you a chance to come in as well. If our guys out in the field they are ready too, we want to hear from them as well. Nicole, I know you might be able to pull in some folks through conferencing there, and I'd be happy if you do that. Um, and we want to hear too again from the public what is happening at your end. Folks have been sending us their photographs and videos all morning. We still have quite a number of them to upload to Facebook and social media in general, but now we want to hear from you guys directly. If you guys are, if you see hundreds of you are joining us. I know everybody's not from the diaspora, and so again, I wanna take a minute to invite you guys. You know the number 627 6963. Join us as soon as you can. We'll just bring in the audio if that is your desire. We know not everybody wants. Some people are very photo and video shy, and we're gonna respect that. But we'd love to hear what's happening at your end. Nicole.
Yes, Sherrod. I noticed that in Linden, especially Kukwani, the
Mhm.
flood started like
Yeah.
days ago, and it was being
So, so,
ignored.
so there
And
was an indication from the administration where this was going. What has happened to the Met Office? I haven't heard one word out of the Met Office in these many days.
oh yes, oh yes, the Met Office has gone silent. They probably underwater. They're probably underwater. No one is saying anything of any substance. When you go on DPI, they're in reactive mode. If you post something, they say something. If you post this morning, you decided, or even long before, you decided that, look, I'll put out some WhatsApp thing and tell them send a message. The CDC now catch on understanding. They put out some WhatsApp message that people must send it to them. Now they determine after they sat and say they had a whole caucus. Only this morning it was determined that they should get information from residents that they cannot reach so they can ascertain how they'll get goods and services or whatever to them. So it's, reaction mode, no planning. And it shows clearly. Look at the
And
outage
that's
in
going to be
Okocho.
the challenge that we have because Here you have a national pandemic in COVID. You have a national crisis in a national flood. And where is the Minister of Information? Oh, he's in the US on a vacation.
Oh my
Right?
God.
And what you need
Can
in
you
a
remember
national
during the
crisis,
Trump
what you
administration what
need
we
in a
did
national
to?
crisis is information. And so one of the
Oh yes.
most critical persons, integral to a national crisis, pandemic or national flood, is the information minister, Mr. Kwame McCoy. Installed, albeit, but he's the man in charge nonetheless. Gina, NCN,
Hmm.
so it's headless chickens running around because, of course, he's part of the control freakism, right? Well, let's see what happens now, and that is why you've had this almost silence from the government and government ministers on what is happening because everybody only could move on instructions, right? And Jadrian venturing into no flood waters
Yes.
with his own comorbidities, so it's confusion powder. Nico?
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. Just like you said, the information minister is often on a sojourn wherever. And if you could recall, under the Trump administration, how they lambasted that senator who went for a vacation during the flooding in Texas. I don't know if you recall. He went on the flooding. Yeah, Ted Cruz. Yeah, Cruz man. The Ted Cruz person. And that goes to show you stay on the ground, you look after your people, you visit. When I say your people, I mean the Guyanese people. You visit the areas that are most affected and you provide the services needed, not a bag of rice, little flour, little sugar. Many of those people showing you they got shops. So they need tangible and a tangible understanding that look, this has happened due to negligence. Look, the people in Blackbush Pool, that they said they got a little pump some way they just buy, and the pump he want one big pump. You understand, for take off the water. And when I tell you this disaster is going to lead into so many hiking prices and all kinds of things, you must know it. Because you see, rice need water to grow, but at some point they just pick rice. You understand? And if you overflood the rice with produce you get in, the bora for $80, it will go up more because all those lands on the water. He went to the conservancy yesterday where all the bora and all that grows. All in Blackbush Polder, all over got greens. Check the markets. Check the markets. So this is spin off from the flood. You understand? The infrastructure, the road network, right? People driving their vehicles. Trouble, massive trouble. You understand? Because there's some huge holes and all of that created by the water and the water logs that happens during flooding and on the roadway. You understand? What they're doing, what the Force Account Unit at the Ministry of Public Infrastructure doing, or the Ministry of Public Works, or whatever they're calling it now. What are they doing? Where is Human Services Minister? You understand? To tell the nation something, calm the nation, tell the people something, go in, see who's ill, who's hurting, what will they give them to ease some of the stress and the burdens they face. All of that. You understand? Nobody's out there. Nobody. But we're talking today. So guess what? Tomorrow they'll be there. And they got big, wide, loud megaphone because they have the Guyana Times, the Kaiser News, the Guyana Chronicle, Critics, and all the others who will propagate all of those nonsense and not juxtapose it to what has actually happened, and they're now responding.
Nicole, you put it very, very well there. And I want persons to know that those persons who are having some challenge with flooding, there is a number for CDC that you can call. And I'm going to give you that number in just a second. Nicole, if you have it more handy than I do at this point. Yeah, that number is it's 226 1027 for those persons who you're really inundated with flooding and you need you need some relief. 226-1027 is that number for the CDC, the Civil Defense Commission National Operation Center. It's 226 again, 1027. Guys, Nicole.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Good example. Set an example. Let's give out the number so that people can call to get answers. You can give out the public service ministry number to human services. So persons who and within the local areas let the human services minister come out and tell the people what she'll do for them for flooding, because currently I think the money is between 6 and 8 thousand. That cannot suffice for persons who may have persons with disabilities and all of that, that they may feel more under pressure with the flooding and all of that, and the moving up and down in the upper level of the house and all kinds of things. They need to determine how they'll address that. We're giving them
Yeah.
information so they can go and work on it and get it right.
Yeah. Nicole, I really want to pull in some other folks. Again, that number is 627-627-6963. And I want to hear from the mayor, for instance. Nicole. So if you want to try conferencing, Nicole, I'll pull in the audio through your end, and we will talk to
Okay,
some of them.
I will. Yes, I will right now. So you go ahead.
Right? So I'm gonna take your audio off, and then I'm gonna bring you back up. So, folks, there you have our very own Nicole Telford, who is just giving us an update from her end. I can't do everything. Good to have you on, though. Do share the live stream we're doing. For those of you who are now joining us, we're looking at the flood situation nationally, and we're going to have a talk to with some of the other folks. I'm going to log off with Nicole for a second, and then we're going to come right back to her. But I want to get a sense of some other folks. What is happening? What is happening? And so, bear with us. Don't go any place. Let me see. I'm going to call one of the guys. Again, some people might be having a challenge calling us. So we are going to do one better. We are going to call them. That's what we're going to do. We are going to call them. Guys, bear with us. I want to talk. I know our chief whip, Christopher Jones, was in the thing. Yeah. And we have on the line Member of Parliament, Mr. Ganesh Mahipal. Ganesh, welcome to the broadcast.
Hi, Sharad. Good afternoon.
A very good afternoon. Talk to us.
Well, Region 3 is flooded all over, from Parika come straight down to Potentia.
Mhm.
Perhaps the heaviest area that got hit, Tushin, Zealot. I saw Sarah Lodge Scheme, Good Fortune,
Mhm.
Real Hoop, the Denhamstel, Plantain Walk, Parfait Harmony, Stanley Tongue. Name the place, they were hit.
Mhm.
Intense rainfall, but perhaps what was the problem in my view is that there wasn't any maintenance work done in preparation for this flood, this rainy season.
Mhm.
I remember during the coalition time, in the month of March, April,
Uh-huh.
you would see a number of excavators, and this is during the coalition time, I recall, you would see a number of excavators cleaning out these drains, digging trenches, clearing out the bushes and trees and overburden. Have it well prepared so that it can
Yeah.
take off the water.
Yeah.
Now, of course, the water would normally be of a great amount. So sometimes the drainage canals, the pumps, and so on, they are very much overburdened by it.
Uh-huh.
But nonetheless, when you have a time where the water starts in the ocean or in the sea starts to recede, as common man would say, the water starts falling. You
Mhm.
would see how quickly the water will run off from the land
Mhm.
because there is a good drainage network. But we don't have that now.
Yeah.
We have
Sadly.
a callous government that did not prepare for this. And it was deliberate. It was deliberate
Because
because
now that they
now
have to treat it as emergency, it is their friends and family
that are getting the contracts to go and do it. So large sums of money is being put in their pockets, in their friends and cronies' pocket. If this government was serious, everybody knows what May June brings. Everybody knows that. Even to a child that cannot speak knows that May June is rainy season. And these nitwits that we have in office installed on fraudulent votes did not prepare for this in the month of April. And it was a deliberate act on their part because they know definitively what is it that they were doing. They created the problem and now they want to swoop in as though they are the life savers. But in between all of that, they're stifling off monies and putting it in their friends and families' pockets. And you have Zulfikar Mustafa and that demon Ejil on television saying that the mayor and city council must take blame for Georgetown. Well, who's going to take blame for Region 1, 2, 3, East Coast, East Bank, Region 5, Region 6, Region 7, Region 9, and Region 10? Who's going to take blame for those places? Is the mayor and city council responsible for those areas too? They have been withholding money last year's subvention to the mayor and city council. They did not get it. This year they get it $30 million after they make enough noise because it's shame they try to take out of their face. But these people are
Danish,
deliberately
I was
hard.
very, very struck by Mustafa. I was very, very struck by his disingenuous, dishonest comments concerning the mayor trying to deliberately flood the city.
No, but Sherrod, you have to see these beasts and demons for who they are. These people believe in IMCs, interim management committees. They don't have any respect for local government. They don't have any regards and respect for local government. And they have a track record of removing legitimately elected representatives of the people to install interim management committees. And they have now started the campaign to basically play down and embarrass the mayor of Georgetown, his councillors, and they are doing that because their intention is to install an IMC, but the days for IMC is long over.
Well
And we are
said.
going to
Well
make
said.
them know that it's long over. But you people must see, listen, nobody, you cannot judge the PPP on face value. Whatever comes out of their mouths, there is so many hidden meanings and so many hidden agendas behind what they speak. And I am telling you, it was a calculated statement to say the mayor and city council of Georgetown is responsible for the flooding because they're trying to create this narrative in people's mind and people's head that the mayor and the city council is failing them and they will have to swoop in and install an IMC and bring back Carol Sober to be at City Hall to drive fair and to basically stagnate
But
development of the
and
city.
that's why again you've characterized it so well. What are they going to say then to the NDCs and the municipalities that they would have control and are still underwater?
Exactly. Is the mayor and city council responsible for Port Moran's flooding? Is the mayor and city council responsible for Blackbush Polders flooding? Is the mayor and city council responsible for the flooding in Tushin and Zealot? Is the mayor and city council responsible for what is happening in Region 2 and Region 1? These people think that Guyanese are stupid. They think Guyanese don't have sense. They think that Guyanese are just going to fall prey to their long-time politics, where they create a narrative and they run with it, but they little do they know that they don't control the internet. They don't control social media. And people are more exposed. They're more exposed to what is happening. And only a fool can fall prey into believing that the mayor and city council is responsible for Georgetown flooding, but the PPP is not responsible for the entire country being underwater. Only a fool will believe that they are not responsible. The People's Progressive Party had an opportunity to prepare for the May-June flooding. They had an opportunity to bring out those very excavators that they have working around the clock right now. They had that opportunity to allow them to do it in the month of April, where they could have cleared these bushes and all the clogged drains and so on. I drove around Region 3 today, and if you see what these excavators are taking out from these canals and trenches, I'll send you the picture, Sherrod. If you see what is it that they're taking out, these things could have come out a month ago, but now they're taking it out because they have to double the price. They have to double the price of what they're paying the contractors. Because if they would have paid for clean this canal in April $1 million, now they're paying $2 million because it's categorized as an emergency work. These people just know how to thief. That's the simplest I could put it. They know how to thief, and they capitalize on the situation to fill their pockets and their friends and their families' pocket.
But Ganesh, where are they, and why have we been seeing so little of them? I mean, these are people who talk a lot. You have something that happened. For instance, you had a little dust. Well, I won't say a little thing, but when Kwame assaulted our MP, Miss Haley, Surabo Haley, they were on television. They had shows on that defending Kwame. Where are they now? Why aren't they having press
Kwame is in
conference,
America.
keeping the nation up
Kwame
to
is right
date?
now in America. I'm saying to you, Kwame is right now in America. So he is not where flooding is. He is living the good life. The others who are absent from the ground and not playing their role, they are eating steak and drinking wine and the likes. But more importantly, when Kwakwani was faced with the heaviest of flooding, nobody didn't run there. But after we started to put it out on social media, then the Prime Minister decided to go in. But I want you to take a look at the hamper, the size of the hamper they give Kwakwani versus the size of the hamper they give elsewhere. These people, Sherrod, are demons in its worst form. They are nitwit as far as I'm concerned. And they must hold responsibility for the flooding across this entire country, including Georgetown. Because if they were providing the resources to Georgetown, and if they were desisting from interfering in the affairs and management of the city, then we would not have been in the situation we are currently. And they must take responsibility, because what they were supposed to do as a government in the month of April, March, April, which is the preparation or the preparatory work leading up into the May June period, we would not have been in the state we are currently. I hope that they will I hope that they know that December, January is also a little rainy period, and I hope that they will take precautions in October, November. If they don't, then we will end up in the same situation that we are currently in. And again, they will have to bring out people's excavators, private owned excavators and NDIA, and they will have to start paying people double and triple. And then they will come to the National Assembly and say that they need a supplementary budget because they had to wire money to sustain drainage and irrigation. But the actuality and the truth of it, they had to steal the money, they had to thief it to put it in their pockets.
And Ganesh, we can even talk about that. How in the suffrage of people in this national crisis, COVID, you have now compounded by this national flood. A lot of people are going to get rich. A lot of people are going to get rich while you and I and the other members of the public are suffering.
Well, I don't know if I'm going to say a lot of people are going to get rich. What I'm going to say is a pocket of people that belong to the PPP, that are friends with the PPP, that would have played a role in installing them in government, that would have spent money behind their campaigning and would have been promised richness, are going to get rich because they are going to be used for this purpose of enriching themselves. And as I said, everything is going to be treated as emergency. Whilst majority of the Guyanese people who are ordinary public servants, who are ordinary civil servants, who are our policemen and women, who are our nurses and doctors, who are our frontline workers, who are our market vendors that we go and shop from, who are our normal people that circulate every day from place to place trying to make a living, they are the ones that are going to suffer. Because even though you give me a, a bag of eatables or a hamper of food items, you did not replace the damage that you have caused due to your negligence. You have not, and you're visiting me for what reason? I don't know. You don't have no technical skill. You don't have the technical skill that is required in this season. What you're supposed to do is to ensure that the NDIA, the National Drainage and Irrigation Authority, with all the engineers, they are supposed to be looking at the outfalls, desilting the outfalls. They are supposed to be looking at the drains that are clogged up and blocked up. But instead, you are going for picture moments, utilizing the state's vehicle to drive it anyhow you want to drive it with your flashing lights. And all of that will compound the spending of taxpayers' money, because you're going to have situations, Sherrod, where the vehicles will require a regular maintenance beyond its normal schedule, because it's working beyond its duties, so to speak, if you get me. They're driving it in all the roughness of the water, fast, fast, fast. Fuel consumption gonna go up, wear and tear, price gonna go up. So this epidemic, if I may call it that, that we are faced with right now, is will have a trickling effect on our treasury, on our public purse, because a number of expenditure will flow. Not only do we have to clear out falls, but we will have to maintain those very vehicles that they are damaging. We will have to maintain it by providing all the fuel for them to gallivant with no proper purpose, because none of them have the technical skills to decide what is required. But the people who do have the technical skills, who are the engineers in this country, who are with the technical expertise, the senior superintendents of work and the superintendents of work, those are the people with the technical skills that should be given and should be incentivized to go out and assess and recommend what has to happen, and they should be given their an allowance, or a little amount of money for their extra service. But no, it's not happening like that, Sherrod. They are going out themselves, and they are claiming for all sorts of other things. This is what you call daytime thievery, with your eyeball big open watching it, and it's happening. But you know what is emergency?
They are crooks and
Is
scams. They are
emergency.
crooks and
But who
scams. And I
created the
hear now,
emergency?
again,
Who
you have
created the
Edgel.
emergency?
Yeah, Ganesh, we now have Edgel trying to build on this narrative of complacency at the mayor city council. Now, Ubraj is one of the hardest working mayors, right? Ubraj said to them, this city engineer here needs to go. He's incompetent. Sluices never working. This, you name it, right? They fight him. They fight him, right? They fight him and giving finances to City Hall. You give a couple dollars, you take it back. You hold it back, right? And now I see as you're trying to build on Mustafa's inaccurate, disingenuous, dishonest narrative that they may somehow to be blamed for flooding the city. And again, we got to harken back to, then who's responsible for, is everybody else for flooding in Kokwani? Who's responsible for it in Blackbush Polo, in Region 6, Region 5, Region 3? Who's responsible? So they're only central government for when nice things happening?
Edgel is a fool, Sherrod. He's a demonic fool.
And the cross.
And I have no apologies for saying that. The
But David Julia,
situation is very sad. It's very sad. I see people crying. I see people asking for help. I see people working beyond the call of the of normalcy just to avoid flooding in their area. I saw an old woman crying because of the amount of chicken that died. You know, the meat board that she was rearing to sell for an honest dollar. I see a family woke up, and when they put the girl told me when she put her foot off the bed, it's into water. She was shocked. She could have screamed on top of her voice. And when she came outside, her refrigerator, her chair set, her television stand, everything damaged. And then you have this cost of living that is hitting people. Cost of living is so high. Everything has gone up in the shop. Somebody sent me a picture with I think you could have count the amount of rice in the plate, and then they had a few amount of bora, cooked bora, inside the plate. And he said to me that losing weight now is easy because we are forced to eat little. That is how serious it is. It is very, very serious. Cost of living is high. Everything, things that are produced in Guyana has a very, very high price. I don't know why beef gone up so much. I mean, come on, the cow eating grass. The cow eating grass, Guyana got enough grass all over. Why is beef $800 a pound? Rice is grown in Guyana, milled in Guyana, packaged in Guyana, sold in Guyana, and that price has gone up too. Sugar, Gaisuku has a savior called, what's his name? The CEO says Narayan Singh. They say he's the savior. He was sent from heaven to save Gaisuku. Sugar is grown in Guyana, processed in Guyana, packaged in Guyana, sold in Guyana, and the price gone up. Chana gone up, split peas gone up, soap that you have to bathe with gone up. This is miserable. And it is, you know what hurts? It hurts because we are getting all of these complaints, we are getting all of these comments, we are seeing the sadness on the faces of our people, but we do not have the resources to help them. We do not have the resources to help them.
that's
Civil
what I see
Defense
somebody telling me
Commission
right now. Somebody
is
telling me, oh,
highly
we can.
politicized.
Yeah, somebody's
The
telling me right
civil
now, oh, we can give out this and we can give out that, but you have to have the resources. And as I said last evening, Ganesh, we're not a country where the opposition is in receipt of X amount of resources to do independent projects of the government. We're not the kind of country.
And the Civil Defense Commission is under heavy political instructions. The Civil Defense Commission is being told who they should prioritize over who they should not prioritize. These are reports that are reaching us. And you have a government, a callous government, a demonic government, an installed government, a disingenuous government. A, I don't know what other word to describe their behavior. Yes, they are in the streets. Ejil is there, Zulfikar is there, Indar is there. They're in the streets. But are they genuine to their cause, or are they looking for a photo opportunity? They really and truly rectifying the issue, or have they created the issue so that they can look good for this photo opportunity that they seek? Those are questions ourselves. Because if they had prepared and did what is necessary, and this is not a now come government as people may want to put it, it's 23 years they sat in office. When we had the 2005 flooding, they should have learnt from that. Jackio was there, Irfan was there, Priya Manik Chan was there. When we had that
2005 flooding, they should have learned from that. 2006 we had flooding, 7 we had flooding, 8 we had flooding, 9 we had flooding.
We would say
Almost
they ain't checking learning.
after 2005, our country was faced with tremendous flooding during the May-June period. The coalition came to office in 2015, May. It was rainy season when we came to office. There was flooding too, but there was a collaborative effort immediately to clean up all the drains and improve the infrastructure and increase the pumps and so on, so that the water can come off as fast as possible. Nobody is disputing that there is going to be accumulation of water. We are below sea level in our low coastal plain. So when the tide is high in the sea, we are expected to have some flooding inland once rainfall. But when the water starts to recede in the sea or go out or fall, the, the time and the force at which it leaves land was very, very fast under the coalition. And that
We had the
are,
competent people, and that was a result of that. We had
but
competent people who knew
I
what they were
don't know
doing.
if I don't know if the word competent is what I'm looking for, because we had not competent is good a word, yes, but we had the vision to recognize that you prepare for this disaster that you have no control over. You ensure that the preparation is done, the preparatory work is done, so that when the disaster hits, you are in a controlled position to deal with it, and you don't allow it to get out of hand. But if you don't prepare for it, Sherrod, and if you don't take the necessary measures prior to it, then when it comes, of course, this is going to be the result. And the result is much to your satisfaction as a government, because you now get the chance, as I said earlier, to invite your friends, families, promote cronyism and nepotism by pushing the money into their pockets, and then you claim emergency work. But you created the emergency as a government. You created that emergency. And I am telling you, the PPP is known for that kind of action. Create the disaster, swoop down and try to fix it, and then they must be seen in people's eyes as the God saving set of people. But they didn't expect the rain to come like how it has come here. And you know what is even worrying? The weather station, I see, I noticed that the weather station is affected by the rain. The people who's supposed to give us the forecast and who's supposed to tell us about
Yeah, because I
what
was saying that earlier, we have not heard anything out of the meteorological department.
they are not
Nothing.
affected by the flooding. So if they are affected by the flooding, then who are you and I not to be affected by it? This
National
is a very,
disaster.
very sad, sad state of affair. We had flooding with the PPP in 2005, and now we have a repeat of flooding in 2021.
Yeah.
People called me and said, Ganesh, I have been living here 19 years and I never see water come to me back step like how it
Yeah.
come
Some folks at
during
Breeding
this
Hope said that
period.
just this morning.
Yeah, well, it's reading who people I was speaking to, so it
Yeah.
could very well be the same
Yeah.
persons you were
That is a
communicating with.
challenge. That is a challenge
This
they have.
is a sad, sad, sad state of affair, and what compounds it is cost of living.
Yeah.
That is what compounds it, and COVID.
And this was the rising cost of living outside of the floods. I don't know with few goods like you have now, the vegetables and so on. Few goods chasing a lot of consumers. The prices might just go up more. People are already crying out.
Yeah, it can go up. It can go up heavier. My wife went to buy $200 bora, and she got 4 bora. Four, and I
Wow.
had to laugh because when she was
Wow.
accustomed to $200 bora to cook for everybody, 3 of us, then now she got an extra $200 bora. She get 4 bora. She had to
Wow.
end up buying more.
Wow.
A piece of pumpkin. You cut a piece of pumpkin. What you call it, the flag or something like that of the pumpkin. $400 for one cut.
Mm.
$400 for cut a pumpkin.
Those are the
It's
challenges that we have.
more than
Ganesh,
$40 per pound.
yeah. Ganesh, I want to thank you for coming through. I'm going to try to pull in Natasha Singh Lewis, MP, who was in Region
All
6
right,
again.
Sheriff.
Thanks very much,
Thank you
Ganesh.
very much. I'm actually
Agree.
going back on the ground here now too.
Thanks very much, Ganesh. Folks,
Hmm.
there you have it. I want to try to get MP Natasha Singh Lewis, who's on the ground in Region 6. I want to get her take on what is transpiring there. And forgive us for the ringing. We're taking the communications as we have it today. I'm not trying to tweak anything. Usually, we want to take the sound out, so that's not annoying at your end. But it is what it is, folks. It is what it is. Let me try to dumb it down a little bit. We're going to take it as it is. It is what it is. I want to hear from some of our other folks out in the field. I'm going to be trying to be calling some of them directly, as MP Natasha Singh Lewis is. All right. So apologies for that ringing sound you're hearing. And I'm assuming too that um, she may have. Let me try it back again. She may have some data issues too. Guys, we apologize. We apologize for the ringing sound, but we want to get you as much information as we can. All right, let me get back Nicole and see what Nicole may know differently now. Let me get Nicole back.
Hello.
Nicole, we're live again. Welcome back. I know everybody busy on the ground, and we want to get a sense of what you might have learned since we kicked you out to take Ganesh's call.
I was trying to get Simona Blooms is on the ground in East Ranvel.
Mhm.
I don't know if you tried to get her. And there are lots of MPs. Sherwin Older, I think it's on the ground in Essequibo. Also, Darren Adams, I was trying to get him. I think he was trying to get through to you. So I
Mhm.
don't know if that is the situation. But having spoken earlier, Ganesh, outlined quite a few points, and it all come down to everything will increase as a result of this national disaster, this catastrophe.
Yeah.
And if I might learn, Kofi Annan once said when the HIV/AIDS pandemic came out, he said it's more than a health issue. It's economic, it's security, and it's developmental. And that's what's hitting us. It will, bear, guidance will bear the brunt of this for months and even years to come
Yeah.
because of all the damage that has occurred to furniture, livelihood, livestock, poultry, farming.
Install government and the minister, the team of collaborators, or I don't know what, should come out and tell the public, you understand, in legible terms, what is happening to Guyanese and their livelihood. You understand? I noticed too, Sherrod, if I may add, that the Ghana Water Incorporated says
Said
that the APN overstaffed by 700 on the APN UAFC. I worked at the Ministry of Communities under the former administration. And I can tell you, Van Miss Charles did a magnificent job of rehabilitating that whole water sector, because those workers were employed, skilled and unskilled, to attend all the pumps, right? Minimizing the chances of frogs and flies and crappos and all that that used to come through the taps of persons across the country. Because many of those same media houses can tell you they reported on all of that. And when Van Westchals took over that organization, that organization soared. Persons who never saw water running through their tap began to see water running through the tap. And this is on the coastline and even in the interland. The interland never had that, that persons in the interland getting water in their homes. And Van West Charles made that happen in certain areas. You understand? And also something that's very critical, all the old piping, the rusty piping that were laid for and left there for years, never thought of to redo. Van West Charles and that same team of workers at GWI, they unearthed them and rerouted pipes and reinstalled good piping so that persons in every area across the country could get clean, clear, potable water. And that was evident under the AP and UAFC
And now they're
administration. So I don't
fighting
know
people
what
to fire them.
nonsense the GWI
Yeah,
talking.
yeah. Absolute
I
garbage.
don't know Sheikh Bash. I don't know
Absolute
what
garbage. I
nonsense
know
he
where Rocky was
talking.
living under before, right? Sheikh Bash should not even be in politics. Should not even be in politics. Because from being a minister in government to where he is now is a terrible fall from grace. Should not even be in politics.
Right? So they say 700 on the staff. So if they go to knock off people or retrench or whatever, that means more people on the breadline. And what happens when more people on the breadline and there's no availability of jobs? The creation of crime. You understand? Or people, excuse me, excuse me, or people selling on the roadways. You understand? Selling whatever they can catch, and the police and them at it, and the whole confusion starts again. I was also privileged to watch the video with um, One Edge Hill, where he's claiming that he cannot reach the mayor. Well, he can't reach the mayor because he can look in and see that the mayor's in every community across Georgetown. You understand? Accessing the damage and engaging with residents and seeing what assistance he can provide. Meanwhile, he just stand up on a little corner, in visiting nobody, but saying that he doing some assessments. You don't see a team with him. You don't see him with any book or any nothing, but he doing
The
assessments.
shame, Nicole, the
You
shame, the
understand?
shame, and the fighting to save face, they
He's
are a shame.
shameful. And today
Yeah.
it comes out. All the infrastructure, the Force account unit under his management, no work in being done on the road to repair all the water log and all them things. They ain't even got the proper equipment to remove the water off the road or engage Sivan's waste management or Purans or one of them boys
Well,
to
they
get the
didn't like
place
David Patterson. Well,
tidy.
take a Jill, take Fisher Bishop. They didn't like it,
Yeah,
Patterson.
yeah, that's what they do.
That
They
is, and
don't see, they don't take,
this
they
is a
like to
challenge we have now,
copy.
a challenge to
They,
leadership, a challenge to leadership, and you have
yeah,
people like Edgel now. Instead of being proactive, your minister sit down there. You're
reaction.
firing contractors left, right, and center. You're not looking to see rain like rainy season creep up on us.
Yes, that's what it did. Not on us, on the PPPC, right?
That's
Rainy
what I
season
meant.
creep up on the PPPC without them being prepared. So they're pointing fingers and blaming. Now you know that May June always has a problem with rain and rainfall, heavy rainfall. Leading up to this, all they were doing is abusing, calling for soapies and all matter of things, attacking. That's all they were doing. Nobody was sitting and engaging with the CDC and with a task force like was called on by the Honorable Joseph Harmon in his recent press release, where he said that a task force should be set up. None of that was being done. All they were doing is pointing fingers and calling people names and misrepresenting the facts on social media by screenshotting what people say and distorting information. And Jack Dio was there lying his head off. And that's all they were engaged in. Instead of, as Ganesh said, use the tools that they have to ensure that the entire of Guyana, all the drainage and the irrigation and the NDIA was collaborating and to clean the city, just like what was done in 2015, 2016, 2017. Listen, Sherrod, it had canals. There's a canal in the Berbice area, Kanchi Creek, where grass and, the usual canal grass would grow, impeding the passing of boats that transfers goods and services along that area. And for the first time, that canal cleaned in 23 years was on the APNUAFC. And we cleaned that canal and all the canals all along from Region 6 right through the NDIA. Ensure that those canals were clean. Now check them. Half of them clogged and blocked up. Same thing with Ganesh tell you in Region 3 and all the areas that now fast track to be paid exuberant prices because of emergency works. That's what they like. That's what they like. They like that. So that they can get to fill their pockets because it's wildness going on. Nobody ain't gonna see, get a receipt there, get a receipt there. So nobody will see. So those are some of the things the Guyanese public should be aware of and they should know. So when they're articulating on issues, they must understand what transpired. Sherrod?
It's so much, Nicole. It's so much to take in. The level of incompetence is so staggering. You know, fumbling in the dark. I was about to say leaders fumbling in the dark. I can only say fumbling in the dark because leaders would be to accredit them too much, to concede too
They look
much to them.
shameful though.
Yeah,
It is shameful. And they'll all band together like a whole band of criminals and they would sit and they will spew lies, misinform the public, distort the truth.
yeah,
And they will do it and they will feed it that narrative and feed it and feed it. But Guyanese, as you are listening here and you understand what are the issues, you see the letters, you see the images, you see everything.
yeah,
Share it so that your family can understand what is happening.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You understand?
Nicole, yeah. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Nicole.
yeah. You know something that baffles me? I want to understand. I mean, right is right and wrong is wrong. They would have done things to develop Guyana because it's two parties and all of them are there. They would have done things to develop Guyana. But what baffles me is the persons on Facebook when there's clear wrong, like the retrenchment or knockoff or witch
Yeah,
hunting
yeah,
of the
yeah,
PPP
yeah,
against perceived APNU supporters. When that happens and people remain silent, that baffles me.
yeah,
You understand? It baffles me. When they retrenched 240 SIP workers from Linden, when they did not renew their contracts, when they closed the St. John's Ambulance Brigade, knock off 20 employees, when the nurses were crying out, all of that. When those information get out there, the other side of the coin, their response, it's baffling that they are human beings and they consume all this information and could sit there and not say, listen, man, y'all wrong. Listen, you're
Yeah.
wrong. You can't do this. You got to
Yeah.
govern for all.
Yeah.
And you got to see how you can do it. When they took the boats away from those school children, all the boats, you understand,
Yeah.
park them and
Yeah.
said the engine bad, this up. that happened and they did not repair them. You understand? When they do those
Yeah.
things and persons sit
The
there
sad
and
reality of
become
things.
and is comfortable with that, deprive children from going to school in the riverine communities by using those boats. When the PPPC sits down and do that, and their supporters sit silent and watch that, it is baffling, it's unfair, and it's baffling.
The very, very sad reality of things. Nicole, when you hang up for a sec, I think I'm gonna get Natasha now, and
Yes,
I wanna pull her in, but stick around. Don't go too far.
yes. No, I go for her.
Thanks very much,
Mhm.
Nicole. Let me see if we get Natasha in the conversation. Natasha was in Region 6 with the farmers and the other folks there, residents, trying to get a sense of what is happening at that end. And let me see if I can pull her into the conversation.
Uh,
Natasha, you are
Karen,
live. You are live. I just telling the folks you've been on the ground in Region 6 and other places. Let us know what you saw and what's happening.
so Sarah, we are myself and MP McDonald. We are here in Manchester, and we have come with the farmers on a tractor. They brought us out to the seaside because the problem that they have.
Natasha, unfortunately, I can't bring you in via video. I know you're trying.
The
Unfortunately.
problem that they have analyzed is that the channel that brings the water out from the village is almost one foot deep. And you and I will know better that a channel that drains water from so many villages cannot be 1 foot deep. So they brought us out to the seaside to show us what the channel looks like. They brought us to the Coca to show us that it doesn't make any sense because the water is extremely low at this time and there is no draining of the water from the villages. And that's simply because the channel is so low. It needs desilting, it needs to go further down so that the water can drain from the villages. So I'm not sure. I want you to talk. I want to put on some of the farmers here so that they can speak with you.
Yeah, I was Raymond Cameron, the farmers in Manchester. Well, the problem we get here is the drainage. The drainage out there that need dig. Cause if we get this thing dig, we gonna last more things in the village. I don't just stop taking rice underwater right now. I need the water to go. You know, cause if this water ain't gonna
Yeah.
last all my crop.
Yeah.
You
And
see
that
how
would
you
be
can
that
see
be
what's going on there,
yeah.
man. You see what over the channel just now?
Yeah.
Yeah? You saw the video where walk over the channel just now. There's not
We
that
haven't had a
is
chance to show the videos yet.
just look at the video and you can see for yourself.
It's sad. It's
You
a
know?
very, very sad situation.
Okay.
Sharon, we're here, like Natasha said to you, and it's amazing that we hear this talk about one Guyana, but when we look at what is happening on the current scene, we're talking two Guyana because we've heard complaints about flooding at Babu John, and drones of ministers flocked there to give assistance to the residents there. And just a stone throw away, you have Lancaster, Liverpool, Manchester, Ulverston, Small Alness, Big Alness, Salton, Adventure, all these villages within that stretch. No one is coming there to give any assistance to the residents here. Their homes are flooded. Their farmlands are flooded. We're here at the channel, and I actually walked into that channel and I'm picking up mud. And so I don't understand what is happening at the level of the RDC and what is happening with the president and all of the other ministers, why they can't come here. I'm hearing that cows are being evacuated from Blackbush Folder. But you have here in Manchester, Lancaster, Liverpool, and all these areas, livestock are being killed. They're dead when.
And that is why I'm happy you all on the ground to get the information to us, to get the video, the photographs, and let the nation see and decide for themselves.
We will. But
what is happening.
I want you to listen to another farmer.
Go right ahead.
Yeah, my name is Michael Tindell from Manchester Village. Me mining stock, planting garden, planting rice, suffering a lot to get a set of sheep dead right about now because in my yard dug out. I got a small strip where the sheep usually lie on the dug out, and nobody come and show no assistance to me. Watch my foot condition. This is a street of walking out. And I can't even get good access to walk on the street. It's a fine street. Right about
It's
now, I lost
sad.
about
That is
15
rather sad.
sheep and lamb. 15 head sheep and lamb me last right about now. With the condition, they might get cold, they might stay just out, get cramp, I gotta throw them away. Nobody, no vet, nobody never pay me no attention, nothing. And I raised this since you want to tell Mr. Mustafa come at Manchester and still I ain't got no support for nobody.
Because
And me
it just
crying
talks,
back
everything is
because my
talks.
condition is worse.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so Sharad, is from the farmers, you are hearing from them,
And we're thankful,
individually,
MP
and you're
Lewis.
hearing from the farmers themselves. So the Minister of Agriculture was here previous to this situation. He promised to bring relief to the farmers. Here is another flood. He came on the quarantine again, and no relief to the flood.
It's tragic. It's tragic. It's tragic. It's tragic.
Right here.
That's all we
And
can think.
certain
It's
villages are
tragic.
being ignored. It's a shame.
Well, folks,
So,
we're very
Sarah, we're going to another village now, and we'll keep you posted.
all right, great. Thank you guys, and stay safe.
You're welcome.
All right, and there you have it, Natasha Singh Lewis, and also you have Coretta McDonald, members of Parliament, on the ground with the people, getting a sense of what is happening. Let me try to see if I get our chief whip to give us an update, because I know he was on the ground as well. Let me see if I get him on the phone. But folks, I wanted you to hear for yourself what is happening out there, and for you to be able to come to your own conclusion on what is happening. I'm trying to get Chief Whip Jones, Christopher Jones, on the line. I know he was on the ground, I think, with MP Ferguson, and I want to know if he's going to come in. So I'm calling him. I know we might be having several challenges as I'm on the line there calling. I see some missed calls as well. I'm grateful for, again, Member of Parliament Natasha Singh Lewis, who called us just now, along with Member of Parliament Coretta McDonald there on the ground in Region 6, seeing for themselves, getting a sense of what is happening. And I know that Jones was deployed elsewhere with MP Ferguson, and that is not going to help us today. But folks, we're going to be giving you, bringing to you what we know as soon as we are a little more certain. But again, some of those images that we already have, some of the images we already have in the various locations, I'm gonna put it up again for you guys, get a sense what has been happening throughout the length and breadth of the country. Put it up again for you guys. And that is yeah. Covered then on the East Bank just earlier on today. Situation there. Rainfall, flooding, area after area, place after place. That's the situation. That's the situation. I think Nicole is going to come back in and we're going to wrap up. We are going to wrap up. And as we have more information, we're going to share that with you guys. I think Nicole is lingering somewhere. It's going to come back and wrap up. And I want to see too if I get, if we get, yeah. Just giving you some of the imagery coming out of the regions there. Kokwani, one of the places hardest hit by this flood. Totally flooded out, inundated with water. Yep. There you have it. There you have it. Folks, as we have more information, we're going to come back and keep you updated as to what is happening. As we have more information, we want to thank you for staying with us just about an hour and a half, a little over that, a little over an hour and a half, as we touch base with some of the folks on the ground and on these many issues relating to this national flood. 911, nation underwater. Folks, thanks for joining us. We're going to be back when we have more information. Thanks for joining us.